from the studios of eternity, from the labs of ordination, when they were making you fearfully and wonderfully, they factored a burden that is in tandem with an ability that it's only when you begin to give expression to your spirit man to find relevance, that is when you will now know that you have that ability. But also, while they were doing that, the man and the woman that met inside time, I hope you know that your parents coming together is just an excuse to give you a body. Because in Jeremiah 1 verse 5, it says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, before that one started, I knew you, I sanctified you, I ordained you. The coming together is to form a body. In Hebrews chapter 10, it says, a body hast thou prepared for me. For me. So there's somebody called me. Then a body is prepared for that person they call me. While they were forging your spirit man and factoring you with abilities and forging bodies into you, when your father was coping your mother, there were many spirits also conscious that these two things would produce a human body one day. And so they also began to look for all the sin that was, very, very interesting in your bloodline. The sin that besets people from where you come from. There are people, normally, they don't struggle with some things. But they have their area where everybody in the family is trusting God for mercy. If you can hear me, say amen. Those spirits, they begin to register these things through the law of sin and death contained in the body, the flesh. We all know that Satan will eat that flesh, that dust. That's where he will do his business from. So he is waiting for you before you come and enter your body. Before you even enter that body, Satan had known what you will struggle with. He has seen what your ancestors struggled with. There are families that their challenge is anger. Everybody is angry. I shared the story sometime, people laughed. I've seen a little boy already angry. He will just, as he's walking, he will just do angry. His father is an angry man. Everybody is angry. They say our own challenge for this family. Now anger, but if not, we'll be good people. A boy in nursery 2 in Sabo Jare, nursery 2 student carried a nursery 2 girl to the toilet and was raising her skirt up. Then they now caught 2 of them, nursery 2. His follow come. He's not taught. Nobody taught him. I'm trying to see, there are abilities that came with your flesh. And he says, he that sows to the flesh shall of the flesh reap corruption. If you don't know that there is a prophet, just the way there's a burden in your spirit about bringing the will of God to pass, there is also a prophecy that only your flesh can help Satan achieve. And if you follow that flesh, you will become something you will be surprised. The flesh will push you. If you are doing everything your body is telling you to do, you will be surprised at yourself. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. He says, seeing then that we are surrounded with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin that easily besets us. Don't pretend this night. I'll tell you why the army of the Lord. I'll tell you how they were crippled. Mind you, the strength of darkness is secrecy. If you hide your sin, you will not prosper. The way you carry foundation and cover pimples, you can use hypocrisy and display yourself like a righteous man, and Satan will say you do well. If you raise your voice to sing, he will encourage you by helping 3 people to fall and break chairs. Then you will think you are on course. You will journey that path until you hear an utterance. The same voice that said before you were formed, I knew you. You will now hear, depart from me, I know you not. The army of the Lord is crippled. But from contacts like this, I know the counsel of God must come for our generation. I hope you know the age of the average Yahoo boy. 13 years, 15 years, they are already actively practitioners of Yahoo. It was my friend Pastor John that was sharing on Friday. Have you seen any old Yahoo man? They don't live long. They don't. You don't follow the story long enough. That's why you don't see how the wicked end. The only thing you see is in the day of his strength. You now say, Kai, these people are enjoying. You didn't see the evening of his life. You didn't see the seed that. There are people here struggling things that they have no business with. They are innocent. But a generation did something that till today, the scale of justice has not been balanced. Just in case you are here and you are beginning to, contemplate joining that trade, may God deliver you very quickly. Amen. So how are we going to rise? What's the way forward? Because I know, as much as I believe in my heart that I have a special place to play in God's agenda, I know you are also convinced too. He says before you were formed, He knew you, He has called you. But you see, in the season of manifestation, many were called, but only few can be chosen. It does not matter that you have arrived. For many people, the flesh, that economy in the flesh, it is what is leading you. And you will never be able to stumble upon your true abilities if you don't change what you live for and begin to press for the Spirit. You eat anytime you want to eat. There is no particular structure that makes for spiritual growth. Our spiritual activities are haphazard. I feel like make I just take one retreat. Feel like you do that, it's after 2 months again before you think of a retreat. And some people even here, worst case, you only enter those mode anytime you have a nightmare. Then you become a violent man in prayer. You follow the next day with fasting and prayer. After 2-3 days, you are back to your real self. And you don't know that every night, every day you are on that phone. Every day you are just, I hope you know most of the times as you are holding the phone like that, there's nothing really that you are doing. You are just flipping, just checking. You even think it's not even news you are reading. You just see somebody's picture and look it and zoom it with your hand like this. Then you will now bring it back. And next. And for close to 3 hours, 4 hours. Because the spirits, they are not calculating what you are doing there. They are looking at the end of the day. How many hours have you given to that thing? I'm not joking. Jesus. That thing you are doing, spirits call it sowing to the flesh. This is why it is impossible to be righteous. Because you have sown to a nature. And so the nature is the biggest.